Hey, happy hump day everyone. It is Kyle with Variety Airs and Coin Op, and we're here for another daily bill search video. So let's start things off. We have ourselves a Series 2013 $10 bill. And we're going to be looking for a few things. We're going to be looking for patterns in the serial number, errors with the ink or printing on the bill, foldovers and some few other errors, as well as a couple other things. So let's get right to it. On this $10 bill, nothing jumps out in the serial number right off the bat. It's not a birthday note, not a date note, doesn't have any pattern in it. This seal is printed probably the best of ones we've seen for a while. Let me pull this a little closer to the camera just to show you that. The seal really should sit about center like this is on a 10 as well as any other denomination of Federal Reserve note. You'll see minor shifting in the seals, but unless it's massively dramatic, I wouldn't call it an error. Let's flop to the back of this bill, see what we have. Now this little 42 here, I know you can't see it super close in the camera, but you'll see it on your $10 bills. That's going to be the plate number. It also annotates essentially where on the sheet. They have sheet numbers as well on bills. That's the plate number. So that way, for a quality assurance aspect, if something is wrong with this bill, they would do a couple of things. They would swap it out with a replacement note or star note. Then they'd also be able to know from that number which plates they need to address. Okay, this is a nice little date note. Now this is kind of a twofer. There's a couple different things going on here, and I'll tell you about them. Now the seal is printed properly, but let's look at the serial number first. 06281171. I like to refer to those as date notes. Reason being is because there's a date in the serial number. This would be June 28th, 1171. So I know that's not a birthday note, which would be, if it was like 1971, actually being a date that someone was born in that could be alive now. But nevertheless, this also has an over ink on the third digit. We know that's common with 2013 $1 bills. Let me get the camera a little closer so you guys can really see what I'm talking about here. Go. Sorry about that. Just wanted to adjust so you could see a little nicer. So I like to keep on to these because historically there might be something that happened on that date. So I will set this aside and we can look to see if something's historical has happened in the year 1171, more specifically on June 28th. And I'll put it in the description box. But aside from that, that little bit of over ink, it's just a date bill. I don't see anything jumping out on the reverse of the bill, but still a nice little find. Next bill, another $1 bill, Series 2013 also, which would be the most common we'll see right now until probably sometime in the next, or later in this year, next year, we'll start to really see bills that are from 2017 series. And they just released some ones that are birthday notes with the 2019 first four digits. Now, nothing on the front of this bill. Let's look at the back. Nothing really hopping out at me. We have a little bit of color distortion that's down here, but nothing that's probably from production of the bill. Next bill. We have a little bit of excess ink that runs right next to George Washington. That's what that little faint line is, but it's not anything to call home about. Everything else seems to be printed appropriately on this Series 2013 one. Nothing in the serial number, so let's move on. Look at the back of the bill. We got quite a bit of damage. You can see the little fibrous hairs that make up the paper in the bill, and a little bit of extra something that came post circulation. 2009 Series $1 bill, not in bad condition for being 10 years old essentially, but nevertheless nothing jumping out as far as this serial number. It's a little bit damaged too, so if it was the water damage to the bill, which you can tell from the discoloration of the bill, would detract from value. But this one doesn't have anything on the front of the bill. Let's look at the the reverse of the bill. Ones are pretty standard. This number that's down here in this bottom right corner, in this case, is 237. Will be different on all the different bills. That's the plate number for the one for the reverse side of the bill, but nothing there. Another 2013, this also beat up. As we know, we're looking through pocket change, so, you know, it's gonna be circulated bills unless we get BEP straps or something like that, uncirculated bills. Then we might be able to find something that's just totally crisp. But otherwise, it's gonna have little dots like this right here, little ink dots, various things. Now, a thing to consider is this is is post-mint damage, although bills are not minted, but post-production damage. It's not something that came during the making of the bill, so that's not going to be an error. The reverse of the bill looks pretty standard, kind of beat up, nothing really great. Let's move on. Now, next bill. No date note, very clear bill though, 2013. This is probably the most crisp one in the stack so far, minus the little bit of folds up here at the top. But nothing really crazy going on collectability wise. Let's look at the back of the bill. Nothing there. Got ourselves a ripped up dollar bill. I'm going to have a video that I'll be putting out tomorrow that talks about the usability of damaged bills. So if you notice on this guy here, I'll kind of move him a little bit so you're not getting confused with that one below it. But it's missing that bottom right corner there. Totally usable. There's a percentage value to damaged bills of whether they are usable or not, and we'll talk about that in that video. This one's been wet. You can tell from the brown discoloration across the bill. It's tore up, 2013, but has seen better days. Got a lot of foreign ink, probably Sharpie or something. It's coming off a little bit on my gloves, so I'm going to stop doing that so I don't have to clean my gloves. Nothing there. Man, look at that over ink. So I know you're going to say, man, Kyle, I've watched previous videos, and you always say not to collect the over inks of the 2013s on the third digit. But then again, look at the prevalence of that over ink. I mean, there's, without a doubt, like I say in every video when I see these, it all depends on if it's super duper dramatic. I know it's common, it's not going to be a major value, but it's going to be a few bucks above face value. That's a really heavy over ink. Let's look at the other serial number. As you can see, that's a regular printing. It's all uniform, there's nothing weird about it. The thing about this one is after that 5, 79965 is actually sitting slightly lower. I know it's hard to see in the camera, see how close I can get it. So you can see how it's off. Primarily though, that 5 is just crazy inked. So I'm going to keep this bill. I like that. Now let's look at the back of the bill, see if there's anything more to call home about. Anything collectible about it. I don't see anything jumping out, but I'm going to go against my normal advice, and I'm going to hold on to this guy. That's probably the heaviest one I've seen. I mean, you can see it all the way from back here, how heavy inked that is. So that's crazy. Good over ink there. We'll set that aside. And right on to another date note. Nice. So May 19th, and that's my birthday month. May 19th, 985. So that'll be another date note that'll be in the description box. What a find. We came across double date notes as well as an over ink there. That's pretty substantial. Let's look at the rest of the bill. These are post-2006, so the 5 was redesigned. It was released in September of 2007. These are very clean. This one's clean. Other than this fold right down the middle. I like holding on to date notes. I'm going to see if anything exponentially fun or interesting has happened on that date or in that year, and I'll put that in the description box. I need to go back to a video I did yesterday or the day before and fix that. We also have some overpressing of the serial number, so you can notice, I mean, obviously when I hold it to the light, you see the serial number through it, but even when we don't, you can see a little blotching over that Urian constellation that's made up in these 05s here. That overpressing. But mainly, though, a good date note, May 19th, 985, so I will put that in the description box. Let's keep on chugging along. 2009 $1 bill. This one has definitely seen better days. I mean, look at it. Totally folded up. Somebody made an airplane out of it. It's been crumpled up and put in pocket after purse after handbag. Totally beat up. Nothing really there. Looks like we got a few ones as our last bills here in this bill search. 2009 also. We know the new signature of the Secretary of Treasury. I mean, for me, is goofy to say the least. The guy prints his signature, but hey, whatever. To each their own, and it's a little bit different, but I've yet to see that personally. It's not really a signature. It's just like writing your name, I suppose. But that's neither here nor there. It might even offer a little bit more chances for ink errors with a printed signature than a signature itself. But hey, it is what it is. We don't even teach kids cursive in school anymore, so, you know, who cares? Nothing on this one. Series 2013. This is a good example of a seal sitting kind of low, but it would need to be down on this white portion to really be called dramatic enough to be an error or misprint. Nothing crazy on the front. Another good over ink. Now this one I think is expounded upon due to the bill clearly of being wet. I'll pull that a little bit closer. As you can see, it's over inked like that 5, but that blotchiness around the 9 where it's over inked is actually because this bill you can tell was wet. You can tell from the texture of the bill, which I know I have gloves on, but I can just look at it. There's a little bit of excess ink next to Washington there. Now with the damage on this bill, it's hard to tell whether that is from production or is that just a counter stamp or Sharpie or whatever. But nothing, I'm going to go ahead and just go out on a limb and say it's not anything collectible. Nothing in the serial number, no broken ladders or anything. 1999 Series 1, that's not as common. We don't come across those as often. This is previous to a couple different changes, both in Treasurer of the United States as well as Secretary, so that's interesting. Different signatures on this bill, but not a different design, though. The one has not gone through a design change in a long, long time, which makes it easier to kind of look through. You know what you're looking at. They're going to start changing them up probably in 2020-ish. We'll see some differences there. Nothing really crazy. This is a good example of how bills are printed, though, for a last little tidbit before we get done with our daily bill search. Seals and serial numbers are printed in the bill. Everything else is printed on the bill. So if you're wondering why you'll see bills where the serial numbers and stuff seem pretty prevalent still, but the rest of this bill is really beat up and worn out, that's why. There's also some schmudgel down here that looks like some Sharpie or whatever that is. The pack is all beat up. You can tell this sat in water like this. So we'll move along. What did we find in our daily bill search? First one's a really good date note. I'll look up that date and I will let you know in the description box if anything cool happened during that time period. Very heavy over ink. I like that. Normally I don't really keep on to those, but I do like the heavy over ink. You can see it from here. I'll hold on to that one for an over ink. And lastly, we have another over ink and also a date note. So I'll look up that date as well, see if anything is interesting, or anything interesting had happened during that time period, and I'll put it in the description box. But let me know what you think about our finds today in our daily bill search, our rare finds series here on YouTube. Check out my videos on how to tell the difference between post-mint damage and post-strike damage and error coins and error bills, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Hope your week isn't killing you. We'll have a lot of fun planned for this weekend with a nice giveaway here on Variety Airs. See you later.